States. I am Gareth Wheeler, and for the final time, oh Canada, oh baby, wheels down on qualifying and wheels up to the FIFA World Cup.
Oh, Wheels, it's just wheels down for a little while because the earliest that we can see the Canadian men would probably be that June window, expecting some great friendlies there as they do prepare for the World Cup as we welcome you back into Matchday Live. Andy Petrillo alongside Ian Hume, Christian Jack. Okay, it's a wee bit anticlimactic. They end things here on a loss, but the bottom line is, KJ, they do achieve one of their goals. Well, I should say two of their goals. The big one was qualifying for a World Cup, but Herdman also wanted to finish top of the table.
Well, for me, it's a remarkable achievement. You know, I know today they'll look at it and look, they were gassed. You know, they gave everything they possibly can, and they were a centimetre away from getting an equaliser with another one-touch finish and a goal out of nothing, by the way. So they could have got that point. There were areas of concern that they'll look at and think, OK, we could have tried and got a little bit more of that. But at the end, the players have given you everything for 13 games. You're not going to hold anybody accountable. At the end of the day, the top of the standings. You know, they've won the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying group, which is a fantastic achievement. It doesn't mean anything. It's not a trophy, but internally, it means so much for Canada, as you can see them celebrating, Humi, because they now go to a World Cup. It's done. Their objective is achieved. And they'll go to a Gold Cup, which is another big tournament within this region, knowing that they've beaten the Mexicans and the Americans.
Yeah, pots are irrelevant. Let's be honest, pots are irrelevant. They would have hoped to get to pot 3. Qualifying first and foremost, that was the main mission. Once they got themselves towards the top of the table, win the group. They've done it. Listen, forget everything. Canada's in the World Cup. We've won the group. That's it. That's all we need to worry about. You've got Gold Cup coming up. You've got the friendlies, hopefully beforehand. Move to that. But the guys celebrated on Sunday, rightfully. They've achieved history. Now, it's disappointing today, and John Herdman and all the players, although they're jumping around,
They didn't look disappointed.
We'll be extremely disappointed with losing games. You don't want,
Sure.
Nobody wants to lose games. But the elation on all their faces right there tells you the story of everything. They've achieved everything they put in front of each other, and we're in the World Cup, man.
That's right.
Well, let's put it this way. Yeah, they lose, but they've put themselves in a position where they could lose and still finish top of the table, given all the goals that they've scored as well. I mean, this has been a dominant team for the past year here in World Cup qualifying. And there are so many players we can mention who have played their part. You don't just get this done with 1 or 2 or even 3. But one we're going to highlight right now is the Gatorade performance of the match is going to be Stefan Eustáquio. I love what he said after the game as well on Sunday, because it's so Canadian, right? I mean, the fact that we embrace our multiculturalism, but then KJ, he said it was the best decision he ever made deciding to play for Canada.
Yeah, he did say that to me. I'm going to use that word best as well, and it might be a bit controversial because there might be about 7 or other candidates, but I'm going to call him the best Canadian player in this World Cup qualifying group. I think he's been the most consistent, and as I said to him, a player like that Canada have been waiting for 20 years. There's a lot of other candidates, and I know the goal scorer of Laren and David are absolutely immense, but for me, there is no other player right now who's anywhere close to being level, ready to play for Canada at that level, that can play and put balls in like he's done from dead ball situations, run games from deep positions. For me, he's been absolutely tremendous this entire campaign, Humi.
Yeah, like you said, stats win games, your goal scorers win games, and they always get the headlines. But goal scorers can't do what they do without players like Stefan Eustáquio. Yeah. The deliveries he put in, the one in Edmonton against Mexico
glorious.
Was knife and fork, Kyle Aaron on the end of it. Like, it was perfect for him. But he's done it every single set piece. Today, we had so many set pieces. He put in so many great balls. Unfortunately, we weren't on the end of them, but we have been. And, yeah, he's been phenomenal. Since he stepped through the door, he's the best number 7. And I'm sorry, Stolly, but he's the best number 7 Canada's ever had. And he's only been here for a little while.
And if you scout in Canada and you get them on Friday, you're in his face. You've got to stop him. You cannot let that player get 90-plus touches in a match. You cannot let that player pass. You've got to get your midfielder, and you've got to take him out the game. That's what the opponents will say. Take Eustáquio out the game, take Canada out the game, and that will be the mandate, whoever gets drawn against them on Friday.
Yeah, and again, you know, as I said, there's so many players here we can point out, and we've been singing the praises of Milan Borjan, and rightfully so. But let's not forget that Max Crepeau, especially in that October window when Milan Borjan was out with COVID, he stepped in for the qualifiers for the Canadians. He steps in here again tonight. He was also the goalkeeper at the Gold Cup, but he also gets our all-state save of the match. This was off a set piece here for Panama.
Yeah, Maxime probably didn't see this till it comes past the wall. And that's a heck of a strike. Like that, he's with the top spin and that knuckleball strike. He's picked it out perfectly, and it's a great save. But Maxime's come in, and since since last season with Whitecaps, getting the move, he's a first choice keeper. For a lot of countries in CONCACAF, he's a first choice keeper. Unfortunately for him, we've got Milan Borjan. I think that's the only downside to it. But it's a great headache for John Herdman to have. You've got Milan Borjan playing all the time. You've got Maxime Crépeau playing all the time. You've got St. Clair playing all the time. So you've got guys who are ready to step in, and they're more than capable.
Yeah, I think Crépeau deserves his chance. He's played the 5 games in World Cup qualifying. He's been immense. He was brilliant in Mexico, by the way, not just in the Gold Cup, but in Mexico in the World Cup qualifying, that key game as well. The other thing I think you're looking at, and maybe it's a bit too far in the future, but I think you're looking at the starting goalkeeper in the 2026 World Cup at home. And these games are very important for him to get that confidence and continue to move and get his position. He's a starting goalkeeper right now, but Milan Borjan is that emotional, spiritual leader, and he deserves his spot, and that's his goal right now. But whenever he needed, and you never know in tournaments, things can happen very quickly. Crépeau's ready, and he's a great backup.
So many great things to look back on in this year, and you know, we're probably not going to see another World Cup qualifier for the Canadians for 6 years, right? Because they are going to be part of the hosts of 2026. So here they are now in 2022. Don't have to go through this in 2026. So I hope you've enjoyed this ride. There have been so many historic performances, so many great moments, and even though Panama gets the win here tonight, that is the goal. The Canadians do finish top of the group, and we already know they're going to Qatar.
Providing competitive odds on all sports, Sports Interaction is Canada's sportsbook.
1.5 meters of hardwood and fiberglass. 250 square meters of ice. All mean nothing until someone brings them to life. To forge the unbreakable and defy the impossible. Humanity drives everything. And it's what inspires us at Toyota, because everything in this world is ours to bring to life.
A new era for Canadian soccer begins today. Experience the emotion of every match. Watch all the highlights, the breaking news, the best debates, and analysis. And all the information about the Canadian stars playing abroad. Get access to the best of Canadian soccer from any device. Join the new dawn of an unstoppable game. See the rise on onesoccer.ca.
When I started my business, it was just a side gig until it really took off. But I didn't know how to invest in it and still have money left to live. That's exactly what I asked my CIBC advisor.
So tonight we are in charge.
She saw where I wanted to go and built a plan to manage my money. Now I can focus on building my label.
Some advice can take you from thinking about it to doing it. Talk to us today. CIBC. Ambitions made real.
For life's transitions, working from home, and even small businesses, life gets better when you have space. With no long-term contracts or leases, get the size you need. First 4 weeks free. Access Storage. Proud partner of Canada Soccer's men's national team.
Full-time stats brought to you by Toyota. It is a 1-0 loss for the Canadians against Panama. As we know, Panama already eliminated Canada going to the World Cup. And normally the Canadians dominate possession and shots on targets as well, but not to be here tonight. I mean, it was just such a big moment for them on Sunday. Here are the other results for the evening. And with the United States actually losing to Costa Rica, the Costa Ricans, this was a big window for them. And they went undefeated with 3 wins, which is why they get their spot right now, jumping over Panama. It was just so huge for them to now sit in that 4th spot. Can't believe the United States, I mean, that was a close one for them as they dropped to 3rd. But either way, they've automatically qualified. Costa Rica has to go through a playoff. And even though Mexico won tonight, They needed like 10 goals if they wanted to surpass the Canadians when it came to goal differential, hence why Canada finishes top. All right, it's been a long year. There have been incredible moments here on the Canadian side, historic moments, so many wonderful goals. But what are your top three, Hughie?
Okay, so I'll go with Alphonso Davies. Is going to be for my third is Alphonso Davies against Panama.
So you're going backwards here, okay?
It's an incredible goal. Great work ethic, great technique, great ability, great everything, and then finish just to top it off. I know a lot of people would have had that as their number one, and rightfully so, but for me, it only makes number three.
You and I are going to be similar here. We didn't put our heads together on this, but let's see what happens next. Who you got number two, Hughie?
So number two, I haven't gone for anything in particular. I've gone for an occasion and a game.
Yeah.
So this game here was incredible. The way all the guys played, obviously the ball in there, the goal. Sammy had a Kubi right here. Like that, it was just an occasion that watching at home hit me. And just the way they played against them, it was incredible. And the result down in the Azteca and Oso's goal was incredible. So Canada versus Mexico in this campaign was, for me, incredible. But my number one is the goal in Honduras. Liam Fraser to Jonathan David, his two touches, out his feet, his finish, everything from that was picture perfect. And that was the best occasion and the best moment for me.
Well, that's also exercising some demons there with Mexico, and then even mentioning that with Honduras. Okay, what are your top three?
We're very similar, actually. So I've gone with Alphonso Davies at number three. You know, this is actually my number one pick right here. I know we've got some of the things wrong way around, but a reason why I picked number one for Jonathan David's goal is because I didn't think I would ever see a Canadian men's player ever score a goal like that. And that for me is why it's terrific. It may not be the greatest goal, but it's my favourite. I've gone for number two for Kyle Larin, scoring that goal to go 2-0 up. That was the moment in the freezing cold that I I believed they were going to make the World Cup. That was the moment that I thought they were going to make it. And this may well be the greatest goal ever scored by a Canadian player ever. And that's why I went with number three. Now, they're just moments for me. This is easily number one, in my opinion, for other people. It depends how you want to rank them. That individual brilliance, of course, is the best moment of this. But the reason why I went them is because how it touched me. Davies' goal is at three because, as I said, it's spectacular. It changed everything, by the way, at 2-1, 6-game winning streak followed by that. But that Larin goal and that Estacio ball from a free kick, put it in a museum, you know, for me. But the Jonathan David goal, as I said, that pass from Liam Fraser, and this man knows how hard that goal is to score, better than I'll ever know. To score a goal like that and have a Canadian player score a goal like that, the explosiveness, the touch, the ability to read the goalkeeper come out and lift it over the top, it's absolutely sensational.
It's hard for me to choose because you're right. There are moments along the way. I mean, the greatest margin of victory over the Cayman Islands. I mean, this team has just done...
Kubi.
It's just been remarkable what they've done. But those are great moments. Definitely love all of them.
Tough to get it three.
The Azteca? Oh, yes. Was that ever phenomenal? All right, it may have been a loss tonight, but the Canadians are still celebrating because they know there's a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow.
A meter and a half of hardwood and fiberglass. 250 square meters of ice. All mean nothing until someone brings them to life. To forge the unbreakable and defy the impossible. Humanity drives everything, and it's what inspires us at Toyota. Because everything in this world is ours to bring to life.
To play. It's something that's in us from the very beginning, and something we take with us on every step of the journey. When we have no words, it gives us a way to speak. When we are still finding our way in the world, It gives us somewhere to belong. And no matter who we are or where we come from, it gives us the right to dream.
Christine Sinclair as she scores at her 5th World Cup.
Alfonso Davies! It's time to celebrate the game we love. It's time to play.
All right, a lot of talk about the pots, but with Canada not winning here today, they're not going to get into pot 3. So when you take a look at pot 1, I don't know, let's pick and choose here who we wouldn't mind seeing Canada play.
Well, what do you want? Do you want a team you can beat? Or then you want the top one, Qatar. Or do you want a world genuine power that will send Canada around the world as being a massive story? So when I think of World Cups, I think of Brazil. So that's who I want. Hear me, you?
That's an easy one for me, but personally, I'd want, as the Canadian players, I'd want to play against Messi. So Argentina. There you go.
How about pot 2? Who are you picking from here?
Well, a lot of it depends on who you get in pot 1, because I think you have to avoid the top 3 teams there. You know, Denmark are a team on the rise to scare me. The Netherlands are very much so as well. You don't want to get Germany in a World Cup. That speaks for itself. You can't get Mexico or the US. No disrespect to the other 3. But I think if you get one of them, bottom 3, particularly if you pick a powerhouse, a chance to try and get a point in that game and try and get through, that would be what I would go.
Yeah, I'd go Switzerland there. Out of those groups, apart from the ones from CONCACAF, I'd go them.
And pot 3, the group that Canadians will not be in.
Well, this is why I don't worry about them being in the pot 4. I think there's a lot of teams tactically that could suit to play Canada in this. I think any of those, I don't think they would fear them. Obviously, there's a lot of good teams in this, no doubt about it. Lewandowski with Poland, of course, would be tricky, Hume, but I don't think, you know, any of those games in a World Cup game for Canada, particularly if you play them first, the order is always important. I think they'd find themselves having they definitely think they've got a shot.
Yeah, I'd avoid. For Milan Borjan, he'd want Serbia.
He does.
I think that'd be amazing. So, I'd go for any of those teams there. I wouldn't be overly worried about.
Yeah, and here's pot 4 right now with still some teams to be decided there.
Yeah, that's going to be obviously the winners of Ukraine, Wales and Scotland, and then the Intercontinental playoffs. So we'll see what happens there with New Zealand playing Costa Rica, and then the Asian winner playing, of course, in that side of things with the South American team, which was Peru. So, it's a difficult pot, and I think Canada are okay in there.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to find out April 1st. And we always know, we love the term, right? The group of death. And that's just what you don't want to hear alongside Canada's name.
That's right. You don't want to get to that point. I think, for me, it'd be nice to have a balance, have a big World Cup traditional superpower, and then have a couple of teams you can have a go at. But here we are, the end of the run, and we're talking about that. How does it get any better?
Who cares where we get?
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, Canada, it has been quite the journey. It really has, and it has been an absolute pleasure being with you every step of the way. And what an ending. It's a finale we dreamt of, but never really expected. But believe it, because you're World Cup bound.
By now, we know the happy ending.
In your wildest dreams, from obscurity to unforgettable, this is the moment the country has waited for. The Kings of the North, they've done it!
It is an appropriate place to begin. It started with a dream, a vision, collective belief that this group could climb the mountain and reach the summit. Sunday at BMO Field, we all got to see the view from the top. But you and I know this was never simply about the destination. This was about a journey. This was about a climb. Up the rankings, into the head of opponents, and into the hearts and minds of millions of Canadians watching a team perform and produce some of the finest moments in Canadian soccer history. Base camp on this adventure began in the middle of a pandemic, and in the middle of a field in Florida, where a job still had to be done, no matter who was not watching. Bermuda, Cayman Islands, Aruba, Suriname were all inevitably dispatched, as were Haiti over a two-legged affair.
To center backs being good tonight for Haiti. Oh no, look out! What a mistake! Can you believe that happened?
Now it was time for greater challenges. And as Canada's stadiums opened up, so did the belief inside this team that they were ready for the kings of CONCACAF. Ready to win, ready to battle. Kyle Larin from the spot, and then from Fonzie in the US. Atiba, JD, and Tajon smashed El Salvador, and Canada were in the hunt through 3 games. Osorio orchestrated a fine point in Mexico. Another followed in Jamaica before the game and the goal that changed everything.
Buchanan forward. David plays it down the line. Look out, that ball staying in, and Davies is on it. Davies takes it away. 2v1. Davies has Buchanan. Alphonso Davies keeps it himself. Goal! Alphonso Davies. Are you kidding me? An individual piece of brilliance.
The climb was picking up steam. The win put Canada into the top 3 spot they would never relinquish. See the rise. Edmonton, Alberta, dancing David's step and finish seeing off Costa Rica. And then Azteca. Larin, not once, but twice, and Milan Boyan heroically securing all 3 points at the climax. Honduras away was next, and Davies against Panama got competition for one of the finest goals this country will ever see.
Jonathan David! Oh my! That was special!
Larin, who else, in Hamilton, and Adekubi stopped the Americans. A 6th straight win was in the stars in El Salvador, and suddenly Canada could see the peak. This was their one moment. One time they could earn the right to reach the pinnacle of their sport. Where so many have failed, they succeeded. Many paths could have been chosen, but this likable group paved their own way, dazzling us all and leaving a legacy on a journey that will forever change the sport in this country. For that, we are all eternally grateful. Congratulations, Canada. Qatar 2022 is yours.
For life's transitions, working from home, and even small businesses, life gets better when you have space. With no long-term contracts or leases, get the size you need. First 4 weeks free. Access Storage. Proud partner of Canada Soccer's men's national team.
1.5 meters of hardwood and fiberglass. 250 square meters of ice. All mean nothing until someone brings them to life. To forge the unbreakable and defy the impossible. Humanity drives everything, and it's what inspires us at Toyota.